Welcome back to the John Trading channel. I'm John, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my price prediction for Ethereum Classic in 2023. Can the price of Ethereum Classic make a huge push above this old all-time high, over 800% away? Then don't go anywhere and make sure you watch this entire video as I'll give you my major price predictions and where I expect Ethereum Classic to go in 2023. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment on the particular coin that you'd like me to do next in my price prediction series. The first thing I like to do with my price predictions is actually begin on the weekly time frame and even scroll out of the chart as much as we can. So we can see we've got Ethereum Classic using the Coinbase 1 week chart right now. Let's scroll in and see the latest price action, mainly going back to this 2021 period and seeing what's actually been happening. So the first thing that I like to do, and this indicator on my chart, this orange line is known as the 20 exponential moving average and is known as the medium term price average, where price is going to at least travel in the medium term. You can see that we make spikes above and we make spikes below, but on the medium term, on average, we do come back to this price, and we make spikes above, we come back to the average. We make spikes below, we come back to the average. So this long and medium term average price is extremely crucial in the market. So we've got the medium term average price in this 20 exponential moving average, and we've got the short term average price. And in between these, once I actually make a space in between them, that's known as the value zone. And every time we come back into this value zone, that's actually an area to look to either enter longs or enter shorts in my particular strategy. But the main thing that I want to point out and how I start every single trading day and looking at every single asset is I look at the slope of the medium term exponential moving average. So all in this area, how is the slope? Are we sloping to the upside? Are we sloping sideways? Or are we sloping to the downside? It's pretty clear in this particular instance, we're sloping to the downside. We're making small little pushes to the upside, but overall we're making really strong pushes to the downside. So we have that negatively sloping exponential moving average, which tells me that I can only be looking for shorts in the market. I only like to be trading in the direction of the slope of the exponential moving average. And if the slope is to the downside, then I want to be looking, once we come back to the average price, to get short to the downside, get short to the downside, get short to the downside. So what I'm actually waiting for right now on Ethereum Classic that would give me that signal that I can actually put this entire trading plan into place would be to finally see this exponential moving average begin to actually trend to the upside. And what we'd actually expect is price to come into this area, then come back down and use it as a support level, then break above this high, make another high up here, and then come back to the exponential moving average, then make another high in this area and also come back to the exponential moving average. So not only we're making higher highs and higher lows, but we're also using the slope of the EMA as a support zone. But not only that, we've got a positively sloping EMA, because in this area, we would see that we have a positively sloping EMA. Well, that's what we're truly actually looking for. So since we don't have this positively slope of the exponential moving average, I will have to wait to execute this perfect strategy. But again, what I'm actually looking for would be a push above this high into this area, then come back down, and through that area, we'd have enough time to begin sloping to the upside, which then would give me enough confidence in the market to actually say, yes, this strategy can work. But since we don't have this positively slope, we have a negatively slope, we need to wait. As my personal strategy, if the slope is to the downside, then I can only be taking shorts to the downside. But in this area, when we had this positively sloping EMA, I'd only be able to take longs to the upside, and I would not be able to short these areas, as that's just my particular strategy and how I've been super successful in the market. The next thing that I like to do is actually come over to this Fibonacci retracement level and go to this all-time high that happened in 2021 and actually drag it to this current low that happened back in June, and we nearly hit it again of June 2022, and we nearly hit it again in June of 2023. You can see we've got price populating in this area. We've got the 0.382, 0.5, 618 level, and then back to this 1-to-1 level, which is back at that old all-time high. The first thing that I'm actually looking for is support to resistance zone. So what I can already see in this area, that there was support, there was support, there was support, there was support. Support got broken down to the downside. We then came back, we used it as resistance resistance, use it as resistance, and then push to the downside. So this is actually going to be one of the first areas of interest in Ethereum Classic. Let's actually move over to the daily time frame so I can show you even better rather than the weekly time frame. As much as I want to zoom out, we need to now scroll in a little bit and actually look at this part of the chart right through here. So let's actually scroll in. And as I was talking about, so we've got this support zone in this area. We even slightly went below, but we've got support in this area. We've also got support in this area. We then came back down, supported again, even supported again. So you can see right here, we've got a little block of this support zone right in this area. Every time price came down into this area, it was acting as a support zone. But look what happened. We got a break to the downside. Then what happened here? Came back to this support level, now flipped as a resistance and use it as resistance to the downside, came back up, use it as resistance to the downside, even came back up here, use it as resistance to the downside, even came back and properly retested this area as an actual resistance level. So let's actually scroll out to the daily, to the weekly time frame, so we could see it even better like we could just before. So again, in this area, right here, which is what I was just showing you right in this area through here. So we've got support, we've got support, we've got support all through this area. Then we get these major breakdowns acting as a resistance level, even got a stronger breakdown, then come back and acting as a resistance level. And what I understand in the market is once we get these support and resistance flips, these prices are definitely going to be acting as future resistance levels. So basically right through this area, when price does come back into this area, I do expect at least a small amount of resistance level, even especially through, because you could probably get a trendline trading strategy all through across here. So when we're starting to come up, potentially pushing up into these value zones, then we are going to see a small amount of resistance. We first need to break above this trend line, use it as a support level, initially resistance, then come back into this area. So that's the first level. And my first level right here would be roughly 120% away from this current price point, which actually would leave you a really good risk to reward, because if you were to put your stop below this level right here, which is roughly 35%, again, I only personally trade using a 3% maximum risk, but there is a way to actually structure your trade that even if you do have to risk 35%, you can still only be risking 3% of your entire trading portfolio. The way that you'd actually do it is you'd only take a 1/10 or a 1/9 position size. So let's say you normally trade a $100,000 account, then you'd only take a $10,000 position, because if it was to move 35% against you, then that would still be only 3% of your entire trading account, which is that 100,000. You'd lose $3,000 if you were to lose, which is still 3%. $1,000 is 1%, $3,000 is 3%. So if you think about it, we're risking 35% to potentially be making 130%. Not a bad risk to reward ratio right there. You're risking 30% to win 130%. So if you think about it, that's actually a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So overall, not the worst risk to reward ratio. It just shows that you have to be risking a lot on this particular trade, but you're also gaining a lot. So if you structure it in the right way, it can still be a super profitable trade. So this would be my first level. It doesn't line up with any Fibonacci retracement tools at this particular time, but this support and resistance level, even coupled with that trend line trading strategy, altogether, this is definitely going to act as a resistance zone and actually a decent little risk to reward trade on this particular one. So since we don't actually have any more support and resistance flips in these areas, I can definitely get rid of this Fibonacci retracement tool. I'm now going to move over to the trend-based Fibonacci extension tool. And what this actually does is you drag it to this low that actually happened back in this 2019 area. You then drag it to the old all-time high that happened in late 2021. We then drag it to this low that's currently been made in 2023 of June, or 2022 actually. And now this is the main price point that we're actually looking for, is we're looking for this 1618 level, which is actually known as the golden zone and is a very high probability zone, especially if we are going to break above all these levels and push to the upside. This 1618 level is definitely going to have a lot of confluence in the market. Potentially a lot of people will be looking to short once we get up into this area, and that's a really good target to really think that price could gravitate to and basically use as a magnet to pull there to the upside. If we currently look at how far it is from our current price point, you can see it's roughly 1400% away. So using a very similar risk to reward, because all you'd need to risk is below this particular trade, again, that rough 35%, then looking for a 1430% gain, absolutely astonishing gain. That's basically a 40-to-1 risk to reward, because you're risking 30% to then make 40 times on your money, on your actual risk. So absolutely crazy. Risking 30% to win 140%. Again, the best way to actually structure that trade is only risking 3% of your entire trading portfolio, only risking that small amount, but then you still have a massive gain potential, and basically splitting up your entire portfolio through a lot of these different trades, only risking a very small amount to gain a really big amount is really the only way to do it. But you need to have that positive risk to reward ratio. You need to understand the rough probability of these trades. You then need to plug that all into your trader's equation, and that will give you your answer as to when and if you can actually take this trade. So that would actually be my zone right up here. And there's really no other zones that we could potentially make other than using this 2618, 3618, and a 423 level, which is also high confluence zones, actually using the trend-based Fibonacci extension. But the most common zone is this 1618 level. Even if we made a bit of a trend line trading strategy and we actually push it over to this area, it would make sense that in the next few months to over 1 year, we look to make price coming back into this area, looking to actually push down off of this 1618, potentially using this trend line trading strategy as a bit of a resistance level. But overall, we are expecting Ethereum Classic to look to push above this old all-time high in 2021. So right here would actually be my second target right through here for Ethereum Classic in 2023. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you'd like me to go over one specific coin that you have and are interested in. I hope you really enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next video.